We are going to be doing all kinds of fun stuff today. It is the last day that we'll be doing positive scripting before we move on. We have to only allow so much time for everything, you know. Um, and so we're going to be running through this pretty quickly. So come on in, get settled, and I'll be with you shortly. All right, I'm back. I looped to check to see if you were back. Yes. What a great idea that is. You write that loop. You write that loop. I kind of went. That was kind of loud. Sorry about that. I've got a headache. It's been a tough day today. We ran some upgrades on some systems today, and it's been me versus. Well, not versus anything, but I've just been like, yeah. So I was coding all day. We upgraded like over 500 production systems from Helm 2 to 3. Using shell scripting. There, you see that segue? Using shell scripting. I wrote a POSIX shell script to do that, and save the logs off and everything like that. Speaking of which, make sure you pay attention to where you do your redirection. And so hopefully everybody's in here and you're having fun. And I'm just going to get jumping right into it and get going. So today we're going to be doing some more scripting, but we're going to do something that I sometimes start out usually earlier with. And we're going to talk about ANSI escape sequences, color, and things like that. So these are not, as I said, the purpose of the boost is to show you to talk to you about what you should learn and what you may or may not know. And so I spend the time on the video going over stuff that's not really covered by other people very well or at all. And so one of those things is color and escapes, and there's so much time you could spend in researching how escape sequences work that I can explain it to you in 5 minutes, and it should go a lot faster. So you can just kind of grok that really quickly and then move on. But we're getting back to our code. We have not been able to cover case statements. That's still bothering me because we had to skip over it. We didn't have enough time another day for it. So hopefully we'll be able to write a little bit of shell scripting today that's got some of that in it. The conclusion part of today is going to be, everything that I have available right now, that stuff I haven't ported over yet. That maybe little projects that you can do to help yourself learn how to shell script and have fun with it. And just to let you know, I'm seriously debating whether to do structured data next week or not. We'll see. And then after that, we're going to be doing customizations, and that includes writing your own Docker file in shell so that you can manage your own container and create your own container on Docker Hub and all that. And let's get going. All right. So first things first, what is a ANSI escape sequence? So how would you search for that? You'd say, what is an ANSI escape sequence, right? You can use links or DuckDuckGo or whatever and go search for this. And you can see ANSI escape sequences are the standard for in-band signaling to control cursor location, color, and font styling, and other options of video, text terminals, and terminal emulators. So I don't know if you remember, but if you go back like to some of the beginning days, we talked about how the terminal itself is just a teletype machine. It's a terminal emulator that started out as a teletype machine and then became a way to write things to the screen. Originally, it printed it all out to paper. And so that's why we have things like line return and carriage return that you'll run into all the time when you're doing any kind of printing. But we have a lot of other things as well that are control sequences. After it stopped being paper and started being a screen, it became clear there was going to be a bunch of things that we were going to need to send to the terminal to change the state of the cursor and the position and all that kind of thing. And that is what ANSI escape sequences are. They are really fun. If you're just starting out, they're the things that give you color. They give you the ability to animate. They give you the ability to rewrite your line over again and all that. But they are a little bit cryptic in how they're written. So we're going to have to revisit how to do variables and stuff like that in shell as well when we do this. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to just write a regular script to show you what I'm talking about. And I'm going to try to keep it more one-on-one kind of examples so that we can go through this. So let's use our first escape sequence. Okay. Now you can just echo straight to the terminal an escape sequence. Now you're probably working from a container still. Maybe you're working from my workspace container and you've downloaded that and you're using that. I can tell right now in Boost in 2022, I'm going to actually encourage people to use my container first for the first, 15, 16, 17 days, and then to build their own container and put all their own goodness in it, so that you can get all of the, the colors and everything right from the get-go, so you can have fun with it that way. But some of you may still be using your own black and white terminals and stuff like that, and you can go ahead and practice this there as well. So a couple things to note here. First of all, you have to have a color terminal for any of this to work, which means you need to be using, we covered this on day 10. You have to have a terminal. All modern terminals support color. All. So, I mean, there hasn't been a terminal emulator made in the last decade that doesn't support color. And therefore it's, we're good to go here. In fact, most modern terminals within the last 5 years support millions of colors. And let me see if I can give you an example of that. So something like sunrise, all these different colors here. I mean, this is a terminal and those are color escape sequences, right? You've seen a number of the other things that are fun to do with ASCII text. So SL, you can install that, apt install SL, and that'll get you that. If you guys have seen the T matrix, which has been running all day today, T matrix is a little bit harder to install. Its popular cousin C matrix is another thing you can install. And see how it shows you how to install it. Sudo apt install C matrix. We covered installing software some few days ago, so you can come back to that. So these are all things that are all done through ANSI terminal escapes. And so we're going to talk about that. The terminals, the fancy word for this is that terminals must support N curses. All right. So, okay. Okay. Let's see. All modern terminals have N curses support. And I have to remember this again. The purpose of the boost is so you know the words and stuff. So you're going to hear the word N curses a lot, or curses. Curses is an ancient C library for doing terminal cell coloring and placement and monitoring and all that stuff. And your command line your command line terminal is an ncurses application that does all of this, but you can also write ncurses into your application. So just know the term and know that it has ncurses support. But they vary depending on how many millions of colors they have and that kind of thing. So So all these games, C Matrix, Dragon, what is the other one? Lolcat, right? Echo, something to Lolcat. I mean, there's tons of other things here. I'm just giving you a sampling of all. Lolcat is fun. It prints it in different color there. You see that? And those colors are being generated through cursor escapes. Figlet that I use a lot is also using color. And is that going to work? Oh no, whoops. Figlet something. There you go. So something, and you can write that into a little loop. Have you written it? That's cool. So remember our good old while true loop? While true, do Figlet goes to lolcat, sleep 0.5, and then clear, and then done. So there you go. Thank you. So this is, this is how all of that is done. Now, just knowing how to turn your cursor off is another way to do that. Because I did things like install lolcat on their Macs. I have nothing against it. Putting it in production is a different thing. But like if you're a streamer, or if you're having fun with people particularly that are younger, these are all fun things. There was kind of a fun troll that someone did to me where they actually reported that they had done that and got in trouble at work, and they got me good. I thought it was true. So how does all this stuff work, and how do we write our own programs like this? And I mean, these are probably not the most compelling. It's really funny because a lot of the Node people, they really play around with color. They, like when you install stuff, but it's not just that. So another reason you might want to do this. So when you're like making issues, right? Day 5, link to the video, right? So I do a new issue with GitHub. So GitHub issue create, and it'll give me a new issue, something. This is all curses, right? So it's all yellow color, and go ahead and submit that. And now you can close it, issue, close 7. And, whoops, let's see, issue, whoops, I'm doing it wrong. Issue 7, close. Ow. All right, there we go. I was trying to, oh my gosh, I feel foolish. I'm trying to show you a stupid emoji. There we go. There, see? So they'll put like little things over here, and Mac has brew and all that stuff. So that's a thing. How do you do it? All right. So it's saved. So let's go back and show you a little bit how to do all this. So I already told you that you can just do basic things, but it all comes down to an escape sequence, which doesn't normally print to the screen. And one of the simplest ones we haven't talked about yet is \n. These are escape sequences. They're really commonly used. And to use anything kind of escape with echo, you usually have to use -e. So we're not going to do that. We're going to use printf, which is supported in POSIX. So printf, which is the same thing. So as I go on, so let's do printf some thing. And so that's our first escape sequence. Notice I didn't put a line return on the end. That's because it's printf. Now we covered printf before, and you know that printf can use a substitution if you want to. So I might as well mention that at the same time. And then oops, is it S? Oh, I'm doing go again. So there we go. So you can use it to have like something here, and it's very useful. So some space thing, and it's consistent. We're going to printf is in every language, and that pretty much everyone has some variation on that. But printf is also useful because we can actually put colors in here if we wanted to. So we could say we could do something like like put an S here, and we're going to have this be over here. We're going to have this be the starting color, right? Now this is where things get kind of interesting. So in order to get colors, you're going to need to use escapes, and the \e, as far as I know, is supported in POSIX as well as Bash, and we're going to go figure that out right now. So the way ANSI escapes work, so let's see if I can pull it up really quick. they have, they all begin ANSI escape sequences. So again, I'm doing what you would do when you go search. Let's go see what we find. ANSI escape codes are a standard for inline blah. We already talked about that. Now let's go look at some of them. There are a lot. I mean, there's literally hundreds, if not thousands of them, but at least hundreds. And you don't need to memorize them all. But you do need to learn like the basic method for using them. And it's like, God, all the history on it, stuff. Let me see if I can find some actual ones. So it tells you how to do them. So here's another thing. So you can send Control G, So the first escape sequence is \n, \r, which is carriage return. Sometimes you need that. You can actually use, in some systems, you can use \b, which will do a bell. Which one is backspace? I can't remember. Do you guys remember? So any time there's tabs, there's all kinds of stuff. But this one \e, that is an escape character. Now you can also do that by typing an escape character sometimes, but that is an escape character. So the sequence for color, and for most other, ones is to put \e, or its equivalent 033, which is octal for that, and then to put a left bracket, and then the number up till the letter M for what it will be. And so let's go see if we can find some of them. There's lots of tables out there. So here you go. You can control sequences. And you can read all about this. Again, I don't have a lot of time to cover everything here, but I just wanted to make you aware of it. And we'll try a little bit here. Let's see if we can find some color. Okay, so here's all the numbers. And you can use this. So let's try, should we try blinking? You want to try blinking? Should we try that? So they have foreground color, the number here, right? And usually there's a combination, but the colors have a combination of numbers with a semicolon between, and we'll get to that. But let's try, double underline. I want to see if my terminal supports double underline. Let's do 21M. And if we did this right, it didn't work. It didn't work. It didn't escape it. Gosh dang it. So I actually think we have to put -e here. Yeah, I don't know. We're going to find out. We're going to find out right now. Right now, we're going to find out. Nope, it just doesn't support color, but it did it. So let's do something else. Let's do like 29, and that should be a color. Doesn't seem to want to do it. Well, I know something that will definitely work, but it's bash only, so I'm going to try that first right now. All right, let's try this one first. So these single quoted variable types like this are only possible in, I think I have my bracket backwards. Do I? I always screw that up. You know what? I know how I can figure this out. VIC, oh gosh, there's like a million of them. Let's go back to my dot files. Is it \e? No, I think that might be different. So what do you guys got? I mean, I have done it so many times. So there we go. So was this one random? Oh, that's 255 color. So this actually tells you, we're going to come back to this. So it is back. I had it right. Okay. So, let's go back here. Back here. Where are we? Where are we? All right. So E299. Actually, no. Let's put an S here. Oh, we didn't replace it. S. Let's do that. No, not doing it. Well, let's try something else here. Let's try. The 29 it might not be a color actually. I gotta look at my other. So I was trying to do some of the easier ones. I should have prepared some of these in advance. I do know the clear one though. So I want to see blinking. I want blinking to work. not underlined, not blinking, single intensity, either bold, notified, double. Sometimes bold works, sometimes it doesn't. Bold is really finicky. Sometimes it doesn't work in everything. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't work everywhere. And so that's why you want to reveal not concealed set foreground color 30. Okay. I wonder if so 30 is the first one. Let me try this one. Yep, there we go. So that's not a very good color, but it is a color. So you can go 36. All right, there. So now let's see if I can do that without the escape. I don't believe I can, but I'm going to try it anyway. Yeah, you can't. I think if we do double quotes, we might be able to pull that off. Maybe not. Nope. So I think if you do that, you have to actually have the escape. And another thing we could do is, well, let's try. I'm just trying lots of different things here. So another one is 033 is the same as E on some systems, but it's not doing it there. Yeah. Now you don't need to do the extra backslash thing there. That's from your PS. You're like pulling that out. You did the clear the screen one. Yeah. So I think what's happening is that the escape sequences can't be substituted, which makes sense. I didn't know that. Today I learned that. So I was just trying lots of different things. So, but I know that printf will work for this kind of stuff. So let's do 31 and an M. Yeah, and there we go. So it does, the escape sequences has to be in here. And from what I understand, the SH, this is valid for shell as well as for bash. The -E is. In fact, let's test that really quick by saying, let's do a hello script. So do bin sh. This kind of stuff you could probably get away with doing it in bash because most of the colored stuff is fun to do in bash, you know. You got to be careful too. So whether to use color or not, that is one of the topics. If you use color, there's a lot of times people are they're gonna be cutting and pasting or writing to logs and stuff like that, and that color is gonna put all kinds of crazy content into the log. In fact, it's such an issue that a lot of tools, including many of the Docker tools, that have color, when you use them to a terminal, piping them to something else, they won't produce color at all because they assume you're going to be rewriting it someplace. So again, the purpose of that is so that you know to ask yourself, can I get away with using color here? If you put really cool color, it's like, let me give you an example of that, why you might not want to do that. So JQ is this fantastic program for parsing JavaScript, and we've talked about it earlier. We're going to be talking about JavaScript at length. We're going to be learning all about JQ next week. We're going to do structured data all week next week. And JQ is a part of that. So I could do this. I can echo some basic, but I just want to show you because of the way it does color. So, you know, everybody wants color in their JSON because, I mean, God knows JSON's hard to read as it is. So some thing, right? And don't worry about the format for JSON. We'll get to that later. Did I say JavaScript? I meant JSON. JSON is what we're going to be covering. JSON is JavaScript, though, and vice versa. So anyway, we're going to send it to JQ. And so then we get this wonderful color and this bold bracket and everything, right? Well, if you try to put that in a file, you know, then what? Now you got this. You see, it did the right thing. It figured it out, right? And that's because it was being redirected. So if you're writing a program that's going to have color in it, make sure that you think about that for a while. Yep. There's a really great piece of code right there that Mr. Chaos has done. Chaos, we run your program for you. Here, I'm going to run it. This is perfect. So we're going to count from 30. It's going to show all the major colors without the bold versions of them. And so go ahead and paste that. But again, I hope you all are playing around with this as well and exploring all the different colors. Isn't that cool? And now watch this. Watch what happens if we put a 1 here and do the bold version. See that? All right. So that's a good one. Thanks for sharing that with Guest Chaos. So if you do the bold one, and this is something that's kind of annoying, and the reason the bold is a different color. That was actually started by Solarized, which we talked about some time ago, where they decided to make the bold colors a bright version of the color as well. But some terminals like mine are currently set to also make it bold, because modern terminals are pretty high resolution, so they can do bold as well. And so this one has bold and bright colors. And broke my terminal. If you actually broke your terminal, type reset like this. Reset will get you back your terminal. So we'll just put that in the notes. Okay, use, I'm going to put this in here. Use reset if you, when you break your terminal. So that's probably good to know that right off the bat. And we'll put that in there. So, and then before, so that one we already did. This is actually 256 colors. And we're going to, I want to talk to you about that. Okay, so there are, so let's review. So the first thing is there's lots and lots of color, way to do colors and different escapes. So ANSI escapes are used for lots of things besides color. They're used for clearing the screen. They're used for clearing the line. They're used for clearing, you know, for redrawing the whole screen. They're used for repositioning the cursor on the screen without clearing anything. And they're you know, they're used for lots and lots of things like that. And so you can study all those and look at all the different ones. And then, you know, primarily they're used for color. And so we're going to talk about now. Before we leave the issue with clear, though, I wanted to show you something. Do you see how long it takes for me to clear my screen? You see how fast that comes back? People say to use Control L to clear the screen. I'm like, you're full of crap. If you make a C alias that prints the clear sequence, it is physically the fastest possible way to clear your screen, hands down. Running clear actually runs a command. And if you don't believe me, you can actually try it. You can do like hyperfine clear. All right, so let's see how long. I mean, this is a really unofficial test. So there's hyperfine with clear, and then let's do hyperfine with was it bin clear? Yeah, user bin clear. User bin clear. And you can already tell it takes a lot longer. So the reason for this is because one of them is just sending a sequence to the screen, and the other one's running a binary, right? So if you're doing animation, or you regularly want to do that kind of thing, you might want to make yourself a function, an exported function. That's what this is, or an alias. But an exported function works in every place you use it. That's a bash thing, but I just want to point that out to you. So here we go. So that is, so see here, it's like, and it's always the \e in the bracket, \c in the bracket, and then there's some kind of code here. And I think one of these is clear to the screen, and the other ones send you to the top of the terminal. But you have to look them all up. I can never remember them all. Do escapes have a place in production? I think they absolutely do. Particularly for logging programs and stuff like that. Like if you're writing, so if you guys ever use curl or Docker, so like when you use Docker, it's using these escape sequences constantly, because it's refreshing the screen and showing you your logs and showing little arrows about how far you are and everything, and little spinners. All of that stuff is using this. It's using some variation on these escapes. And usually they're being, used from a library of some kind that does all the work for you. But that's what's going on behind the scenes. So I'd say yeah. For like curl is really famous for giving you your status when you're downloading something that's rather large. And so I think it's fine. I do. I think it's fine. It's just it tends to be into the kitschy category. There are some people who think, it's Rob Pike, who made Go, one of the guys who made Go, very famously said that terminal colors are juvenile. That's exactly what he called them. I'm like, okay, boomer. So I like my colors. They help me see things better, and I don't document stuff in my educational materials in color because I want you to see everything equally at that time. But later on, when you start doing coding, I think having color, give you the emphasis is a thing, and I think you should do it at some point. So anyway, so let's jump ahead to what types of colors to use. So as I've already talked about in other streams, there are, beginning from the first time there were color on the screen, it was, 8-bit color. It was not very good color at all. That meant you had, actually it was even less than 8-bit. Oh my God, what was that? That would have been, was it octal? Yeah. So you had exactly 16 colors. And group box, yeah. So here you would have, so what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you had the brighter versions of that, right? And so the original escape sequences for these colors are based on this, and you just saw it. So Chaos wrote us a script that does this. Let's go back and find his script. Am I on the wrong? It's gonna take me forever. Oh well, fine. It must be in another window. But you can make your own script for this. In fact, let me give you a challenge. Write a one-liner loop that prints all the colors out. If I tell you that this first color is 30 and it just keeps getting progressively bigger, you can figure out how to do that, right? For base 16, all the things. I don't know if that's that. I don't know about that, but yeah, Groove Box is my favorite. I don't know if that's a base 16 variation or not, but so, and then this here is the same thing, just with an extra 1 in it. So that's the main color sequences you should use, and here's why. Let me tell you a good thing to use, why you should do this. I want to make sure I put this in my thing. Okay. Here's another claw. Okay, so stick with 16 colors when scripting, and let me tell you why. Because when you do more than I just have to show you. You're not going to understand if you just I talk. I'm going to show you. Okay, so the Groovebox theme and every other Solarize and all these other themes are based on these system colors. All right. So when I say I want this color, I'm saying I want color in position, 0 or 1, right here, whatever that color is. I'm not saying I want gray. I'm saying I want that color. All right. So when I do, where's my printf again? Is it not there? All right. Printf, and then we're going to do \e. That's how you say, hey, get ready. Here comes in a sequence, which you usually end with M. M is the one for colors, by the way. So 30 M. So we're going to put 30 in the middle. So I didn't print anything. So something. So that's gray, and we'll put a line after this. So you can't see it. It's gray because why? Because it matches this color. Well, watch. If I change this color, which is this, whatever that is, I'm going to copy that because I want to do it again. I'm going to make it something like that, right? I hit select. And now any place that color occurs, this is super important. Any place that color occurs in my terminal becomes that color, whatever it is. So the argument for using the 16 system colors in everything that you code, and potentially for things that are implemented, so potentially like, if you get into Vim stuff, is that they will match whatever your color palette is, right? And they will change accordingly. All right, and now I have to tell you why that's an issue. Okay, so let's say, I mean, that's kind of weird color there. I mean, I guess I could go back up here someplace. Select. So now it's, oh gosh, no, just no. I'm gonna put that back to what it was as God intended. So there it is. This is the colors from Groovebox, which you can go look up. Handle those colors. It doesn't actually. Alacrity handles colors pretty well, but it doesn't. It doesn't have blank, and it doesn't have a number of the escape sequences. It's one of the reasons I got rid of it. All right. So but watch what happens now. So let's first of all, let's pick a color that is going to show instead of changing the color. So let's pick, I don't know, what about this one right here? 0, 30, 31, 32, 33. So 33, we're going to do 33. I'll change something to 33M something. All right, so there's my 33. And if I go change it, you'll see the change everything. All right, well, by the way, if you want to make it brighter, you put a 1 in front. And then that makes it bright and bold, as you saw, and which is annoying. I won't lie. It is annoying that it does that, but that's kind of a side effect of the modern Groovebox and Solarize type themes reusing the bold for other colors, right? So you could actually, so it unbolds it, it makes it bright, and it also makes it bold. And I think there's a way, some systems, I know that Microsoft Terminal has a switch you can turn off, and it says make the bright colors bold, and you can turn it off, and then it will not make them bold. It'll just make them the brighter versions of it. So you might want to look for that if you like that. So that's just a thing. That is. Okay, so now you know how to get all of these colors. 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, and all of these have a 1 in front. All right? Now, knowing that, you can create any kind of palette you want to based on the contrast of those colors, and you can have reliable, reliable guess that you're going to have a certain level of contrast between those colors. Okay, now the next way to do colors, so I was going to kind of give you the whole overview. So that was the first system of colors that came out. And then the next one that came out said, you know what, it would be great if we had more colors. Can we use 255 colors? So they came up with a new mechanism to do 255 colors at a time, maximum. And then they said, well, let's just go all the way to RGB. And they made RGB, which is millions of colors. And that's the third system for color. So I'm teaching you those three as we go. And I'm going to make a case of why you should always use the first one unless you really want to get artistic with the other ones. And the reason for that is because this one, the base one, sets the color for that system color. It doesn't force it to be that color every time. The other two mechanisms give you direct control over the color no matter what the terminal colors are. So check it out. If I change this to be the 255 one, which I already gave away, is right here. So this is how you do 255. So you put a 38. A 38:5 says, get ready, here comes 255 colors. All right. And I should probably say, how do you turn the color off, right? So if you want to turn the color off, it's 0M. All right. And you're going to want to do that at some point. So let me make sure to tell you that. Otherwise, you'll bleed into everything else. So don't forget about 0M. And all right. So now let's try a 255 color thing. So we're going to put here, we have to do, what is it, 39? Now I never remember. It's 39:5. That is, whoopsie. That is the get ready. Here comes 255 colors. Yeah, 31M. Good job. And so here we're going to do, did you find blank? Is 31 blank? Oh, that's red, right? Yeah. So we're going to do this. We're going to say 33 here. All right. Now, oh wait, did I get the wrong one? I think I did get the wrong one. I must have got the wrong one because now it's blinking. I accidentally got blink. Oh, you know why? Because I think it's 38, right? Is it 38? It is. Okay. I found out what 39 does. So I found blank. I was looking for blank earlier. So blank is 39. So blank is 39. There we go. No, it's not. Damn. Is it 33? Is it 5? Is it 35? Which one is it? I don't know. I don't remember what blank is. Let's go find it. Let's see. Bold or faint. Color changes where intent. Is it 5? Oh, it is 5. Yeah, if you put it in semicolon, normally it adds them all together. That's why I was wondering. It is 5, huh? Yeah, there we go. All right. So yeah, you can actually combine them. So let's do that. Let's do 5 and let's make it a different color. So is it yeah, it's just 5, right? I think we can actually add more in here. I think we can actually do this. I think we can do, was it 31? Semicolon 5? Yeah, there you go. There's blinking red. Yeah, blinking red. Danger, right? So I mean, you're going to have tons of fun with this. I mean, by the way, that's one reason not to use Alacrity. It doesn't do blink at all. But, and why do you care, right? Well, if you break a symbolic link, you want to see it blinking, right? You want it to blink. So there's lots of other ways to do this. But let me get back to what I was originally intending to do, which is 39. 39 says, 39.5, I'm pretty sure it's 5, says, get ready, the next number is the number from 255 to oh, maybe I got that wrong. Is it 38? Is it 38? It is 38. All right, so see how that's the color's kind of off? It is 38. 39 is something else, I don't know. So let's go down to like 1. What is 1? It should be like black. No, right? No, 1 is red. Why is 1 red? That should not be that way. I have a program for this. 55 color. So there's all your colors. All right. And this I'm going to show you the script, but you should write this script just for fun, just to practice. All right. So VIC, this is what the script looks like. I already have it open already. It's on line 4 right here. So I'm going between 0 and 255, and I'm printing out 385, and then I'm printing the color. And why is there an I here as well? Oh, because that's just a number, of course. Forced to change the background? Yeah. There's a bunch of stuff to change the back. There's so many things here, people. So I'll leave you to it. But here's the important difference. Notice how you remember when we changed it using the standard colors? So where was it? Let me see if I can find it again. When we use the palette colors, like 33, right? It's like this, right? So see that there? Now watch all of these 255 colors. If they were using the palette color escapes, they should change, but they don't. And it's not really bad, but you have to be aware of it. So if you go to the colors here and you say, I want to change that color, I can change this color to this, right? What was it before? I don't want to lose it. I don't want to have to go look it up again. It's in Groovebox color palette if you need to go look it up. But so let's make it like hot pink. How about that? Select. Now, you see where all the hot pink changed? None of this changed. Because when you use anything with the base color palette method, it doesn't change with the terminal color palette. It locks it down. And that's fine for some cases, but you really don't care about that. You're trying to come up with contrast for the person to see. You may end up picking a color that doesn't match the person's color scheme at all. So it's fun when you have control of the terminal and you know you're going to control the background. And by the way, that is exactly, now that I think about it, it's not what it does. But you guys have seen the fishies a lot, right? So the fishies I did not make this, but the fishies here are using the old school colors. And that's why they look so good in Groovebox. Because, oh, look here, we actually remade that to that pink color, which it was not what it was before. That was kind of cool. I have to put that back. So if I put this back, paste, you'll see it'll go back. The color should go back to normals here. So again, the fishies here are using the colors from the system palette and not the 255 one. Now, the last one to cover, I mean, we spent a lot of time on this, but the last one to cover is colors in the 256 colors. Now you have to have a terminal that supports this, and if you're using Tmux, you have to make sure. We haven't talked about Tmux yet, but you have to make sure that Tmux has been configured to do this. And specifically, you need to make sure that you have that your terminal value is xterm 56 color, and that you support that or something to that effect. If you just set it to that, you should be fine. You don't know how to customize it yet, but just know that we are going to get there, and you may not get this next terminal color method without it. So this one is where is it? So here we go. So set underline color, not standard kitty and iTerm. Next arguments are 5 to RGB. Underline color. So we're going to do 38. Okay, so 38.5 is for 256, and 38.2 is for everything else. It's kind of like a variable holding the user. Yes, that's exactly what it is. In fact, what it sends is it sends an escape sequence that changes the state of the terminal at that point, and then it's an inline state change, and then the terminal starts doing everything at that config. It's basically like inline configurations that it can be sent anytime you print anything to the screen. It's pretty ingenious, actually, as a model for manipulating the terminal. But if you do 38, you can do :2, and now you can give a full-blown RGB value. So R255 green, we'll do 55, 55. Let's see what we get. So, I got this like salmon color, right? And you can already tell that you could write all kinds of different code to manipulate this differently. Wow, that was a weird one. 5. That looks pretty dark, actually. Let's make this 200. How about that? More salmon. And you can do 200 here. All right. So now how would you use that in a script, right? So actually written a couple things here, and there is a tool that actually my good friend that I've been mentoring for years has worked on called CPIC. I don't think it's picked. Is it on here? No, I'll need to show it to you another time. But it's a color picker program. It's on it's on GitLab. I don't have time to get it right now, but there are a number of tools to help you pick these colors and help you out. But how would you use it in a script? So first of all, let me just suggest, and I'm going to put this in the notes. Okay. Avoid temptation to create color libraries in shell. So I always do this every time. If you create a color library, then the code that you've written has to have the library available, and that you have to source it. And so I'm going to tell you right now, it's a bad idea. Because you don't always want to share your program and all of the libraries that go, particularly in shell. In shell, you want to produce scripts unless you're guaranteed that they're only going to be on your system, and you're going to have dependencies between your different scripts in your system. This is a number of reasons why I left exportable functions and other things, because I want to be able to send you my script and have it just work. So I'm going to make the argument here that it's actually better for you to stick with putting all your colors into the program. And you can actually write little helper programs for this kind of thing to do it for you. So if you wanted to do something like this, you can do red equals, right? And then you could do, you can just put it in here and do -E. And you can say, I mean, it depends on, now this is where you have to be careful, right? Because if you want a 255 one, it gets still tricky, because now you're writing code. If you want the code to be color specific, you're gonna say, okay, well, red is 30, 31, so I want 31 here. So I would put 31, and I mean, it might not be red in somebody else's terminal, but at least won't be wrong and won't, not contrast well. So you can do red, would be 31M, and then you can do this. You can say echo, wait, not echo. We have to do printf for this. Printf is the only one that does the escapes. That's why in POSIX. That's why you can echo -E will do it, but it's not POSIX. So we'll do red here, and then it was something. Now there's a problem here, right? So I got to disambiguate this by putting that there, and I probably want to turn it off. So I'm going to do X for like cancel. So X equals -E 0M. That turns off color and everything actually. And so then I can print that, dot hello, and you get something, right? So, and the reason that that's nice is that you can then use that throughout your entire script. And if you want to change the color, you just have to change it up here. So this demonstrates a number of things that we've already talked about. This is how you set variables. This is an escape sequence. \E is a binary escape that it's actually exactly the same ones and zeros that, or when you can hit Control Left bracket, it sends the same thing to the terminal. But this is a way for you to write it. It's a little bit easier to write. The funny thing here, if you actually check it, so you can actually capture the output of this program, and you'll see what I mean when I'm talking about color. You'll see what gets written here. And what? I got no color on. I gotta turn my own color off. Or you can be safe and do this way. I have no clubber on. We talked about that before. So check out hello.out, and VI shows you this. Other editors won't show you this. I know you can't see it very well, but if you look really hard, right here is what? A control left bracket, which is what? It's the same key sequence as escape. It produces the same thing. This, by the way, is not 2 characters. That is literally the binary character, and VI is showing that you have a binary data in there. So, and this will work actually. If you cat hello out, the colors will work. Why? Because of the same reasons we talked about. The color is being inline to the terminal. The terminal doesn't care where it comes from. So it can be in a file. And the reason that this is interesting is because now you can actually make really incredible ASCII art with multiple colors in there. I mean, you could do, you could go to get, I actually did the skill stack terminal doing this. It's akin to this. Let me see. REX Rob, I think it is. So I know, don't try it. MPX is the devil, but I wonder if it's going to even do it. I don't even know if it's going to do it. Let's try. I don't remember if it's out there or not. There it is. So this is really, really old. This is back when we were doing Node and NPM and stuff. This is so dangerous. Don't do this. I just wanted to show you the color stuff. So this program literally sends this stuff straight to the screen. Okay, yes. So chaos. So the word escape applies 2 times here. The \E is the escape color. I mean, is the escape character. It's the escape for the escape character. And then the left bracket, when combined with the escape character, is the escape. That means here comes a terminal escape value. So there's lots of use of the word escape in there. There's lots of escaping going on. But that's what's up with that. So yeah, this program is just this generic program that sends stuff right to your screen. From back in the day, I made that years ago. And yeah, so anyway, so yeah, you can use all kinds of fun stuff there. Let's get back on track here. I think that's enough for you guys to go play. I mean, this would be the part where we would like take a break and I would let you just code a bunch of crazy things and come up with your own amazing combinations. But I can already tell you right now, you can probably figure out that, creating, combinations that paint the screen when you combine this with ASCII animation, you can create full-blown animations. You have everything in your power right now. You have the shell coding, you know how to do loops, you know how to clear the screen, you know how to do color, and you know how to put things like this into variables. So like if I were to grab my old skill stack logo, terminal logo, and I were to put that into a thing, let's see, we can put it into hello. How about that? So into hello, I'm going to go down here and print this. We never talked about this with VI, but if you're gonna paste, probably one of the most annoying things, you could make the Star Wars film easily. Guy made a full blown 9-cat animation. So if you're ever gonna paste stuff into VI and you're not sure if it's gonna, so watch what happens if I paste it right now. If I paste it like this with my mouse, it did fine. Okay, normally it won't, but if it doesn't do fine, you might have to do :set paste, and then you do I, and it says insert paste down here. You can put an F key for that to make that happen more quickly, but I just wanted you to know about that. So, and then we're gonna paste that. Oops, I lost my thing now. I gotta go back and get it again. Dang it! Dag damn it! I'm gonna go npx this. This is so dangerous. This is one of the reasons I hate Node. I can't believe that you can actually do that. You can run a program without any checksum validation. It's just so dangerous. But yeah, anyway, different times. So there we go. So there's skill stack. It's got a little problem here. I'm going to tweak it there. Now it thinks it's actual code here. So how do you make it not code? Yeah, but Oh, I think I added mine to change it to the clipboard. It doesn't automatically. Yeah. But anyway, so I have to make this into a string, right? So I'm going to use a single quote for that. And the hard part about this when you're doing ASCII animation like this is a lot of these characters in here are escapes. So like this guy right here is an escape. You might have to go in here and tweak it, but I might as well show you one just to have fun with this. So, so we could do print. We could do, let's do this. Let's put this guy down here. And right here we'll do, oops. We'll say, I don't know, let's do skill stack. This is equals that. That's a big old long variable. And then we'll put it right here. We'll put skill stack. Yeah, I mean, you get the point, right? And then you can run that guy and it will print. All right. Pretty fun, huh? Now, as some parts of it are a little bit off on occasion, I think some of these backslashes won't work. By the way, what happens if I use double quotes? Anybody know what's going to happen if I use double quotes here? Anybody want to guess? If I use double quotes here, what's going to happen? If I use double quotes, things are not going to be the same. Why? Linux has 2 clipboards. Yes, it does. Yes, this I know. In the middle mouse button. Yes, right. I do it all the time. Yep. So there you go. So those backslashes and stuff caused problems. And so the moral of the story here is to use single quotes. If you want to be, you could use EOM too if you wanted to, but single quotes work. That's what I've used all forever. Yep. So I don't think pipe works. I think it's the backslashes that are the problem. So there you go. Now what? Now we can put that into a loop. While true, do printf done sleep 0.5. And we can actually change the color. I'm going to show you. That's the last thing I'm going to show you before I leave the color topic. So now you're like, uh-oh, we need to add something. What do we need? We need a clear in there, right? Well, let's actually add the really fast clear. So let's add clear here, which I want to say there's 2 of them. I think it's 2F, right? I can never remember it. No, that's not it. H and 2J. Okay. 2J is the positioning and the other one is the clear. So I think this one, yeah. And then 2J. All right. So now clear is a command, so it doesn't like it, but we're going to do that. So we're going to say clear echo. Actually, we can just echo that. No, we can put it in the same print statement, actually. If you want, you can put it right here because it's just another string. I would definitely use single quotes for this. You can try to do here variables and stuff like that, but I would definitely single quotes for this kind of stuff. And so what? And then you have, whoop, let's try. So let's try this now. What is it going to do? Oops. So now we are not doing anything, are we? I did something wrong. What did I do wrong, people? 2J. I did something wrong. I did. What did I do wrong? H2J. How about this? Did I put, is it EJ? Oh, you're right. Thank you. Good eye. There we go. So, and that's pretty boring, right? But you want to get rid of your cursor too. I can show you that in a bit. But so let's actually make it a random color. And for this, we're going to use something from Bash. And there is a way to do this with POSIX, but it's really annoying. Why are there black boxes near the K? What are we talking about? Right here? Oh, in mine? Oh, those are because those are line returns. Sorry about that. Yeah, I have a thing in my Vim that tells me if I've got extraneous black stuff at the end. And so I've just gotten rid of that now, so it's not there. But in VI, yeah. Thanks. So if you change to Bash, now this is the one thing that really is good for Bash. You can actually change this color to be some number between 30 and 31. Now, this is a little tricky because, it's actually easier to use 255. So we're going to cheat and do that. So let's try that. So we're going to try, instead of doing red, we're going to make a function that returns a random color. Color. How about that? And I mean, we still have red right here, and again, we're going to cheat and we're going to use something from Bash that's very powerful for this kind of stuff, for writing games and stuff. And again, most of the time you're going to have Bash and actually Z Shell would be fine with this as well. So we're going to make a function called rand color. And I'm giving you a bunch of the answers to some of these other things. But what does rand color do? Rand color just returns, it just prints to the screen, printf, and we're going to make it, and I know you're like, what is he doing? We're going to do random. This freaks people out every time I do it the first time. Modulo 255. And without getting into the math of modulo and all that other stuff, what this does is it takes a random number between 0 and the number you've indicated. And so if we do that, then it will call the function, and we should have something a little bit better. Oh, no, not quite. What did I screw up? Oh, wait, yeah. We forgot the escape. So E, and then over here we can put, oh, wait, we need, what is it? What was the one for random? It was 38, 5 for the 255 one, right? 38, 5, semicolon, random number M. I know this is getting crazy, right? But it's still fun. So now you get random colors. Yay! Random colors, random colors. And then you can do this. You can actually, if you want an even bigger number of random colors, you can change that to a 2. And then you can put, you know what to do here, right? And then you put this here and you like middle click. I've been doing Windows all day, so I've been right clicking. It's like so stupid. So now you get literally millions of possibilities. And in fact, to prove that, I have to turn it way up, make it go a lot faster. Disco Biscuits time, yeah. Let's say by 0.01 and see my CPUs. Oh my gosh, it's gonna, like, this is like the warning against epilepsy. Wow. And that's, by the way, if you've seen Lolcat, that's all it's doing. Lolcat is just doing this incrementally using a mathematical algorithm to just get the next one in order, rather than, do it kind of that other way. So really fun stuff. We spent a good hour on this, and I don't care because it's fun. And, someone took me to task in the Zettelkasten that I wrote about bagging on people that are all flash and no substance. And I'm kind of overly sensitive about that because I have been using techniques like this to get people to code for a long time. And I don't want to have to do that anymore. I want you to want to code because of all the other fun reasons. But this is still a fun reason. And I mean, this is still a really fun way to reason to code. And you can do all kinds of crazy fun things with this. We had a guy build an entire dungeon map generator with color in Python, if I remember, using this method. So there you go. You can do all kinds of fun stuff with that. You just made a Rainbow Figma this weekend. Nice. CPIC you mentioned. Did you find it? Thank you for finding that. Yeah, Ethan Baker CPIC. Yes, it is. It's a little dated. I've been working on updating it with him. Haven't talked to him in a while. He's off to college here in August, so he's gonna be really busy this year. But I am working on fixing the CPIC program because if you have CPIC, you can actually run it in place, and you can use it to pick all kinds of colors. You can use this to add flair to your lead skills. Yeah, I mean, you could put that in some scarier font, right? And then, we did this to make, it was a really fun project. We had Christmas ASCII art. This is really a fun project. We had Christmas ASCII art light bulbs at Christmas time, and we had 8 of them. And we would write at the time Python code to do to the ASCII lights the same thing you would do on your Raspberry Pi to the lights, the LEDs. And so they could write sequences that go up and down and it's inside and out and all this stuff. So if you're an educator and you just want to have fun with the shell and help people out, this is a really fun way to do it. To complete honesty, the reason that I got so into color like this so early is because I was teaching Python to kids for the first 5 years at SkillStack. And, there's only so many things you can do in Python, let's be real. And at that point, you want to do more. And then we moved to JavaScript and we enabled a lot more things in the web browser. Magic 8-ball programs and all kinds of things like that. Speaking of which, before I leave the random, so let me make sure I cover that. Just give me a second here. I want to make sure I get this in here because what's extra shell coding? Learn bash random for fun. And so there was another thing in bash that is related to that. We can come back to that later. But modulo and random actually make it, randomization is really fun. If you can write an entire interactive game adventure using this. Now, it's going to be much easier for you to write an interactive story game adventure starting next week after we go through structured data, because then you can put all of your rooms in the data, and then you can just write an engine like Zork, and you can go through it, and you can do all kinds of fun stuff. And you can do that for training. If you're an educator, you can do that for helping people learn particular techniques, or you can just have fun with it. So that's it. That's it for that. Let me just go back and review what we've covered. Hopefully that was a fun day for you. And we're going to go back here. So I want to make sure we've covered a number of things. So I was going to put all the colors here, the terminals. I'm going to do that. I'll add that before I post these. As I've said here, learn the rest of the color sequences when you need them. They're very addicting. It's really hard to not use them all the time. Know when to use color when it's not. We talked about that. Stick with 16 colors when scripting. System palette colors when scripting. Avoid temptation to create color libraries in shell. I talked about that. Conclusion of POSIX scripting. So that is really the end of POSIX scripting. The only thing we haven't covered in video is the case statement, and I'm gonna have to come back and make another video on that. You're gonna see it a lot. Again, this is to tell you what you haven't learned, not necessarily just show you. But case is one that you definitely want to go back and make sure you learn. I put a number of other topics here, I think, in the next 15 minutes that we can cover without too much controversy. Yeah, my father's old for spreadsheets. Totally. Yeah. So what's next for shell coding? So the next thing for you to do is to just start messing with it. Honestly, just start playing around with it. Putting the color in here might be something fun to show your kids. You can do all kinds of things with that, by the way. I mean, we haven't even scratched the surface of, just that one program. So if you don't refresh the screen, here's something fun. Just not even SkillStack, right? What if you just do this? What if you just do hello and take off the line return? What do you think is going to happen now? It gets crazy fun really fast. I still have the clear in there. Gosh dang it. I do. I have the color. You got to get rid of the clear. This is fun. Yep. So setting cursor position. You can, yes, go play around with setting cursor position. I'm not going to tell you how to do that. There's clear the line position and there's clear the screen. The only one we've learned is clear screen. It's right here. I will give you a hint. It's much like that, but it's the same thing. You can go back to the beginning of the line and start drawing a line again. Go back to the beginning of the line, start drawing a line again. This is shell. So this is kind of fun, right? Now watch if you take the sleep out of this. Watch, watch my fan come on. So I take the sleep out of this. This is as fast as my computer can draw. Oh my gosh. Another epilepsy warning. Right. You guys can have fun with that one. but you can put like 0.01. It'll be a little bit nicer. There we go. Now watch what happens if I go back to like how. By the way, let me give you a challenge right here. How would you do this so that it only shows the system terminal Groovebox colors? Right now it's not. It looks kind of gross, huh? It's kind of gross, right? Because it's not Groovebox. How can I make a Groovebox? So to make a Groovebox, I have to change this up, right? So let's change that. I'm going to make it Groovebox happy. So I'm going to use a terminal like I said, and I'm going to do this. And I'm just going to have 1, but instead of 255, I'm going to make it 30, right? Because that should be the base number. And what should be the maximum? Well, if you do it this way, you have to do it kind of fancy. You have to do it like this, and you have to say plus 30, I think, right? Let's try that one. See if that works. Yeah, there you go. Not as fun. I didn't do it right. There's something wrong. MVP went all blurry. Enjoy the full experience. Did it? Sorry for that. Yeah, it's so I'm missing something here. I don't know what. What am I missing? What am I missing? I don't know what the number is. We should probably print the number. Yes, that's probably much better. Good. Let's do that. Yeah. Oh, God. Yes. What am I talking about? It's definitely 16. No, it's actually 8. You know why? Because, ooh. We can do 2 of these. Yeah, we can do 2. Because you're going to need to do 2. Okay, so let's start one at a time. Having way too much fun. So, oh, wow. That's definitely not it. We're getting closer, though. I know. Let's just do some random number. some random number between. No. It's 8. We only get 8. It's 8 plus 30. Oh, I'm so stupid. I feel dumb. I feel so dumb. I feel very dumb. There you go. There's your Groovebox colors. Now, if you want to put a random shiny one in there, or you want to make them all shiny, just put a 1 in front, and that should give you all those. Now that's really beautiful right there. Yeah, we need to clear the screen for that. That's like worthy of clearing the screen. Yeah, that's like, oh yeah, that's very satisfying. It's not clashing with my terminal at all. Now it's just pretty, right? So, I mean, this is okay. So consider this a lesson in how to make interesting stuff to put in your malware. I'm kidding. All right, so every movie that's ever been made with hackers in it has like, like some picture or some like random ASCII art, like Chuck. They used to put, his dad would appear with sunglasses and all ASCII and everything. So you gotta have fun. Anyway, so there you go. Lots of stuff for you to look at there. I'm gonna give you this free of charge. There's this script, so you can go play with it, and have fun. There's ransomware pitchfork. What is up with it? Is it run? Please tell me it's not running in my program. Okay, good. And Eeks has gotten slow. It's been discovered apparently by other people. Anyway, what are we doing here? So, what's next for shellcoding? Whatever you want. Play around with random for fun. Learn POSIX parameter expansion. We haven't covered POSIX parameter expansion at all, and it is too advanced a topic to talk about. So what is parameter expansion? Parameter expansion is this. Some space, I don't know, buff equals, how about this? Line equals some space thing. And then we're going to echo, so I can just echo line, right? Right. I think I'm an 18-year-old trying to go through puberty at 18 instead of like, whatever, 12, 13. Look, that's not what if I want to chop up? You know what drives me nuts? How many people use base name and don't need to? So there's a common thing. So let me show you one of the most common, I don't know how to code shell indications I've ever seen. User bin sh, let's say, right? or bash or something. Okay, so this is a bash. You see this all the time. People will use a subshell for this, and they don't need it because they don't know shell. So what they'll do is they'll do this. They'll do base name path, right? And they'll do an entire subshell just to get the word bash. Stupid. You don't need it. That's like not stupid. Inexperienced. If you go over here, if you don't want a subshell, you can do this with parameter expansion much more easily. And this is supported in all versions of shell. And so you go back here, you put a path in here, and you say, I want to write an expansion. So there's two types of expansions that are primarily used. One is to cut off suffixes, and one is to cut off prefixes. And so we're going to cut off everything. Chomp, chomp, chomp. We're going to gobble, 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 all this up to there. And to do all that gobbling that is going that directory, we're going to use the hashtag. Now, if I use one hashtag, it gobbles only up till the first thing. So I'm going to put a star, which means anything. It's like a glob, right? Slash. And so that will gobble up until the first slash. So it chops up all that, right? And then if you want to make it greedy, say, no, I want you to go all the way to the last possible slash, put another hashtag there. It says, I want you to be greedy. Boom, there you go. No subshell. Just have to remember to do it. Same thing goes for suffixes. So you could do the suffixes in reverse. You just use parentheses instead. Percent signs instead. You can read all about this in Dash. If you do man dash and if you search for parameter expansion, you'll find it. There you go. And it will tell you all about it. So there you go. There's other default value things you can use is for concatenation. You can have options plus word, but there's how many, what the length of the string is. If I have more than one letter in it, stuff. There is some pretty damn amazing things that you can do with parameter expansion that if more shell programmers use it, they wouldn't even pick up awk or sed. I am so tired of seeing people use an entire massive bloated awk call just to get the first word, when, as you saw, you could have done it without a subshell with parameter expansion if you just knew how to do it. All right, so learn it. All right, back at the end of that rant. Again, the boost is for me to tell you stuff about you might not know about to go learn about. You don't need awk. Period. You don't need it. You don't need awk at all. You don't need awk. I'm telling you, you don't. You want to prove it to you? Okay. So people will use awk here. They'll do this. They would use this. They'd say full name, and they want the last name. All right. So say Rob Stein. No, your boss is an idiot. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You don't tell your boss he's an idiot or she's an idiot. My boss today was saying about the very little awk that they know and other people use cut and all this stuff. You don't even cut either. The only time you need cut or awk is if you actually need to get to the stuff in between all of that. And even that can be done more efficiently with multiple parameter expansions. Okay. How's it going? We're just about right. So we're doing this and we're going to do, watch, check this out. We're going to do full name here. So for full name, I want the first name. So we'll do full name. And I just want the first name. What do I do, guys? Right? How do I get the last name? How do I get it so it's just the first name? I put these kind indicator and I put a space and a star. Done. Do you know how many times what do people do for this? What do people do for this? They do it all the time. Instead of doing that, they do this. I can't even bring myself to do it. They will do this. They will cat. So essentially they'll echo that thing out to a full-blown awk. Look at how big awk is. Awk is just useless. And they'll do an awk and they'll do this. And then they'll say, okay, I only want the first one. So they'll do a print $1. I'm not kidding you. Or they'll do cut-d, neither of which are needed. And they are both subshells that are unnecessary, even in POSIX. Now you know, spread the word, spread the gospel of parameter expansion, because the world is full of crappy command lines with awk, sed, and cut in them that do not need it. It's one of the things that triggers me more than anything else. You go to Stack Exchange, I guarantee you'll see, and by the way, these things are in shellcode, and I know efficiency doesn't matter that much for most shell scripts, but still, you'll see like people that will send one awk to another awk to a grep to an awk to and they could have done the entire thing with just shellcode, but they don't know shell, so they perpetuate this crap that other people continue to do, and then teach their people under them and continue to do too. And I'm sorry, I'm getting a little ragey and ranty about this because it's so prevalent. It just upsets me because it's unnecessary, and it just shows how little they know. If they would spend half a second learning about parameter expansion, they would get it. They would be done. They've never read another base name in their life. They never use another awk line in their life. Take a breath. All right. Yeah, there you go, Chaos. Good man, woman, or whatever you are. No offense, you have to say. So just don't. Sometimes in shell, you need sed. Sometimes in POSIX shell only, you need sed. Now, God help you if you do, because if you are using shell in POSIX shell, don't you dare use non-compliant POSIX functions of sed. People do this all the time. They'll use sed and they'll say, well, yeah, sed does Perl regular expressions as good as Perl does. I was like, okay, but what was the reason you used sed in the first place then? Well, because I wanted my shell to be POSIX compliant, but you just blew out POSIX compliance by using something from sed that's not POSIX compliance. Or you have make-dir-p, which is also not POSIX compliant. So this week, I found out that the which command is not POSIX compliant. Now, again, people get mad at me for obsessing over POSIX. There's other YouTubers who hate the people that obsess about POSIX. But I guarantee you, when you're writing, stuff that's going to run on BusyBox or Docker files, you need POSIX compliance or AIX or Slurch. There's a million reasons to do it. So I'm just going to put that out there. Don't use EXPR. This is something I recently had to rediscover. I have used EXPR way back in the day. EXPR has actually been deprecated for over a decade. You'll still find code out there that uses it. Would my coworker would love you about POSIX compliance? Well, look, in the containerized world with BusyBox and Alpine, which is also BusyBox and stuff like that, and Docker files, though we don't know if we're always going to have Bash. The need for POSIX has come back. Now, whether you want to admit that or not is up to you. But when we write the Docker file, you're not going to be, you don't need to make it bash dependent. And not to mention the fact that all your buddies who use Z-Shell, which includes every Mac user right now, can't use all your really cool bashisms. So write POSIX compliant code. If it's shell, if you need more, write it in Perl. Your Mac's got Perl, or Python or take it up a notch. And that's what this is about, this line here. So this is my recommended way of doing it. Now you're going to make your own decisions here, but you're going to use POSIX and then you're going to use Perl if you need regular expressions. The first tip off that you need to use something more than POSIX is if you're using a regex. If you're trying to use a regex match, you're pretty much done with POSIX. I've already showed you that with parameter expansion, you can chop the stuff off the ends and everything and do all of those things. And apparently we lost a follower over the issue with awk. I imagine there's one follower just left because I slammed on awk. I'm like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking. That's fine. You know better now. So at least I back my stuff up, right? So POSIX, then you go to Perl. Perl is on every system pretty much, unless it's a container. Containers don't have with Perl, and they don't have Bash either. So if you need regular expressions, you're probably outgrowing your POSIX shell at that point. You are. It's probably time for you to put it into some. I know. It's probably time for you to put it. Look, if you need it, if you can justify using awk to me, that can't be done with parameter expansion, use it. But I'm just going to put a challenge out there for you to at least learn parameter expansion and give it a shot. And then you do Perl. And I personally will go for either Python or Command Box Go, which is my creation. I can talk about that another time. That only works with Bash, by the way. Chaos. I love it. I love it. I used to actually put Bash here. I used to do this, and I don't do that anymore. Because Bash can do really amazing things. But what I've always ended up finding out is that by the time that my relatively simple POSIX shell script, Docker file, install script, something like that, as soon as I need that, or I need Bash's double bracket parameter expansion and no globstar expansion, which is really cool. I did this for all of 2020. Then I realized what I really needed was something way more than Bash. I probably needed either Perl or Python or Go, and the application is probably no longer just a simple install script. There's probably something more going on. And by the way, stop bagging on Perl. Perl is still one of the world's most powerful languages. It is the world's standard for regular expressions. And if you have it, use it. It's quite a bit of bloat if you don't have it. So I don't know that I would add it to a container just to do an install. But if you are doing one-off installation scripts, like I did today, we ran against, like 512 production deployments in our namespaces in our environment to upgrade them to Helm 2 to 3, that kind of stuff. I still try to do it in POSIX because usually I can pull that off. But if you have really intense regular expressions or really intense reporting needs, that's what Perl was made to do. Perl's sweet spot is parsing text and producing reports. I don't know how many people don't even know about Perl's reporting template. It has an entire reporting template method for producing reports in fantastic ways. Python's got a lot of this stuff too, but it's usually not on the system already. And if it is, you don't know what version you're going to get. And I could complain all day about Python. But Python is for growing your application into something much more when you're starting to want to reach for, structured programming with OOP and other things like that, object-oriented programming. And by the way, if you're going to reach for those kind of things, I personally would reach for Go as well, because at that point, you're often running. You've got an actual application. It's not much more than a shell. So Python, command box Go. I did put Node in here. Node and Dino if you must have JavaScript. I don't hate on Node and JavaScript so much. I have lots of problems with many things in the community and the applications themselves, but sometimes you have to have JavaScript. Don't think though that you need JavaScript just to parse JSON. That's what JQ is about. We're going to do that next week. And if you want to hear more about command box Go, I'll show you some other time. It's a way of composing multiple utilities into a single BusyBox like executable, and it's all ripe and ready to go now. So learn Bash. Okay, so can I want to warn you so you don't go through the pain and suffering of people who learn Bash first. Learning alternative JSON thing sounds right. Yeah, JQ is so phenomenal. I used to take JQ. JQ is more important than sed in modern computing. I am completely convinced. I wish it would become a POSIX standard. I wish they would POSIX standardize JQ. It is so substantial. And there's another project called YQ, which is the kind of the sister cousin to JQ. Not the Python one. It sucks. It's the Go one. And we're going to talk about that next week. But when it comes to dealing with structured data, parsing it into things that you can use, extracting data out of that, Perl used to be the thing to do for that. Now, thankfully, these days, you can kind of skip a lot of that and stick with POSIX because of JQ. Because of sed, JQ, I mean, most of the time, you're not using sed anyway. Why? Because sed was designed for a time when stuff was more structured into columns and things like that. And that's not always the case now. Almost always, particularly in the cloud native world, everything comes out as JSON. So you're parsing JSON. And with JQ instead of sed, it's JQ, just JQ, lowercase letters. And we're going to cover it all next week. Next week, it's the second thing we're going to cover. We're going to cover it on day 2, or whenever that is. Actually, this is starting tomorrow. So yeah, we're off and running. Tomorrow we'll be doing structured data. This kind of leads into structured data. Perl got a big name for itself because of its regular expression matching and everything. Why? Because there was no standardization on how the structured data was going to be kept. So even Perl's value, and Python, frankly, has diminished in the face of tools like JQ and just straight up POSIX. POSIX plus JQ plus the occasional sed if you really need it is plenty. It's way more than you would need, and generally you don't need to go full bash to get all that. So that's how it looks. If you're going to learn Bash, and I do suggest you eventually learn Bash, so that you can do things like this, for I in a 0, 1 to 30, 300 or whatever. Do echo I done. So there are a lot of like sufficiently advanced things in Bash that you can do from the command line that don't work in Z Shell, by the way, that are useful to you as a command line person interacting on the command line. they're much less worth it to you to put it into your, so like regular expression matching, things like that. Bash has a lot of this. Now, I've created Perl versions of these same things that work from the command line, so you don't need it. But if you're gonna, so at some point, yeah, I think Bash is good for housekeeping and that sort of thing. But again, the problem with learning Bash first or anywhere near the beginning is because as soon as you learn Bash, you're screwed, because now you can't remember whether it's Bash or it's particularly parameter expansion. Can I just beg you, learn parameter expansion from Dash, the man page for Dash first. And then, I mean, let me give you an example of this. So Bash has some of the coolest parameter expansion you've ever seen. So you go up here, remember this? Let's say I want to make, I want to capitalize the whole name. So this is a Bash thing. I want to capitalize the whole, this is only Bash. How many times am I going to say that? There's all caps version of my name, like that. How about I do initial cap? There we go. How about I make them all lowercase? There you go. I mean, you could go on and on. There's like so many cool things. You can just do lots of stuff with it. And I, is it reverse? Yeah. There's my name backwards. I wonder if I could do, well, anyway, you get it. You get the point. So, those are like really amazing little things. I personally think Bashisms are acceptable in an interactive shell. And even for an occasional one-off script. And, the reason that I tend to use Bash for that kind of stuff, I really struggle because I have a lot of Perl background and a lot of Bash background. But if you've learned POSIX shell and you haven't learned Perl and you don't want to learn Perl, which is totally fine, then Bash is a good alternative. It's going to give you enough regular expression matching to avoid, you should never, if you ever write a Bash script in combination with sed, you really, really don't know Bash. You do not need sed and awk at all with modern Bash, at all. And so, if you don't want to learn Perl and you want something that has nearly the power of Perl, but you also want to start out with POSIX, the way I do it is I used to do POSIX shell, then sh, and then if I need a regular expression match, I change the sh to Bash, and then I start using my double brackets and all that kind of thing. And if you're going to do that, you need to learn all of Bash and all the amazing advantages that it has. One of the things I really, really, really miss is select POSIX. I don't know. I'm gonna test something here. I don't think select is POSIX. I'm gonna try it really quick though. Select I in ls-1 and do echo I. Do you guys know about select? I don't think it is. See how it didn't highlight it? So again, shell check. Shell check will do your Bash for you too, by the way. Yeah, it's not. This is one of the things I miss the most from Bash. It's so amazing. All right, so if you do Bash, check this. So you see what this does? Oh, whoop, that was wrong. Whoopsie daisy. Whoopsie daisy. Now, obviously, I should not use a backtick there. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But check this out. So, really? Really? Right, thank you, shell check. Thank you for testing me. There, you see that? Isn't that awesome? That's built in, man. That's built into the shell. You can put that on one line. Yeah. Let's do it. Oh boy. So yeah, I mean, I think this is so freaking awesome. So let's say you want to make an interactive selection tool. You just put that on the thing. It's the same as a for loop. It's just select instead. And what it does is it automatically takes everything split by white space or whatever the IFS is, input record separator or whatever. And you can pick the thing. And when you pick it, it will continue to loop and it will do whatever is in the loop. So like echo, right? And if you do break, it'll eventually come out of it. That is a Bashism that I love. I love. It's like a reason to use Bash all by itself. I mean, I use this for all kinds of stuff. Like if you just want to make a really quick interact, actually create a a version of this in Perl. Where did I put it? I can't remember where I put it. Anyway, I'm over time. I was 10 minutes late, so that's about fair. So, yeah. Okay, so much better parameter expansion. So double brackets, safe double bracket conditions. They don't glob expand. They're really awesome. Regular expression support, almost full. That's why I went back to Perl. Is it doesn't have Unicode support, but who uses that, right? Regular expression support. Never use sed. Sed is so bad, particularly as I use BRE. Basic regular expressions would suck. And then what? Oh yeah, and the select. So I'm just putting some of the ones. Use select for instant interactive menus. Some reasons to use bash. If you do use bash, make sure you read the bash man page. Not the man page and the Google Bash style guidelines. I as you can tell, I'm on the fence between teaching people Perl or bash. Because bash kind of goes with shell. And so if you've already got shell knowledge, it just kind of builds on that knowledge. Perl is a totally different language. And I feel like it might not serve people. I'm still really conflicted about that particular part. I don't know. I'm really like that. What do you guys think? Would you rather learn bash or Perl? They both have value. Perl. The problem is with Perl is that I end up writing prototypes with Perl, and then I write them in Go, and then I realize I could have written them just as fast as in Go right off the bat. And so I don't know. Tough one. Perl's just such a great language, though. All right, noted Dino. Ruby is great, but its legacy, it is. I love the syntax. It's just kind of not used anymore. The last thing I'm going to show you is just go to rwx.gg for your challenges. I can tell people are kind of waning. If you want to go here and read some challenges to kind of get you going, this is some learning challenges related to scripting. I have about 36 that I need to put in here. I've only got like 12 of them in here. For Ruby in my area, yeah, there's tons of jobs for Ruby. Ruby's going to be around a long time because, and I would never learn it, frankly. I would learn Ruby. I probably would learn COBOL before I would learn Ruby. I already knew Ruby. I contributed to the ANSI library and stuff. Matsumoto is a fantastic guy. He's a great developer and it's great language. I love it. There's a lot of people who still code in Ruby. So I think it's legacy. So I cannot justify. First of all, okay, so you don't see people Ruby doesn't have a sweet spot anymore. Don't throw tomatoes at me. I just don't think it does. That's just me. It is, it's getting encroached upon by everything else. There is cybersecurity. There is one reason to learn it. Ruby is the core language of Metasploit, the Metasploit database. If you don't know about what I'm talking about, does anybody know about this? Do you guys know what the Metasploit database is? Any hackers out there? So they did a very strategic decision early on in the Metasploit database, and they decided to write up all the vulns in there as Ruby. And then they after that, what was it, like 3 years ago, they decided to allow any language to be written to do it. So you got lots of other languages in there that are used to, but it used to be you couldn't put anything, if I understand it, I could be wrong, but it could be that it used to be you couldn't put anything in the Metasploit database unless you wrote it in Ruby. And Ruby comes with Kali, right? So if you are, again, the language is really just a tool. So do I need a ball peen hammer in my toolbox versus a claw hammer? Hell yeah, I need a claw hammer. All right. So POSIX shell is like a claw hammer. Ball peen hammer is for very precise, specific jobs that I might not ever need. And I kind of feel like that's what Ruby is. Maybe legacy is the wrong thing to say here. Ruby is great. How about that? If you need it. So I'll let you make that decision. I don't want to sound like I'm bagging on any languages here. For the boost, I want you to learn the languages that are going to give you the biggest boost for the most things. And you have to have a claw hammer, if you're going to be in any kind of industry, whether you're a carpenter or, you're an auto mechanic, whatever, you're a murderer, you need a claw hammer. You don't need, a muffin. So you can make your own decisions there. I got nothing against JavaScript as a syntax or language. It's hard for beginners. It's good and hard for beginners at the same time. So these challenges, let me just finish this off and I'll be done. But a company I work for was bought by Google, used Ruby for the back end. Yeah, a lot of people do. A lot of people still use Ruby. Ruby on Rails is what sent that all off on craze. 2007, 2009, I was all about Ruby. It was the only language I learned. I was more obsessed with Ruby than I had ever been obsessed with Perl. And in fact, I was so obsessed with Ruby that I tried to turn Perl into Ruby, and I wrote the Perl classes pragma, which is, if you're a Perl programmer, you might find it interesting. I don't know. What did I just do there? So yeah, the Perl classes pragma, which is here it update the Perl classes pragma, conventional Perl 5 classes, a simple, stable, fast, blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, I spent a lot of time writing this, and you can go look at it. I'm still kind of proud of it. I wish it was used more, including the people who commented in CPAN about it. Like, why isn't this used more? But this is basically me obsessed with object-oriented programming and before everybody wised up. And I made a single file library, and here it is in Perl. So, and this is why people call it chicken scratch right here. This is checking whether it's a binary module. It's a big old healthy regular expression there. What this does is it allows you to indicate basically to use a syntax for object-oriented programming that's really close to Ruby. It has mix-ins and stuff like that, when in fact, shortly after I made this, I was like, I'm just going to go to Ruby, and I did Ruby for years, and then I got into some other stuff. So yeah, I don't know. There are a lot of great languages out there. I still don't think Perl is dead. I think it has particularly for hackers. Hackers have all the reason in the world to learn Perl. You can code the most powerful, condensed, quick code possible in Perl. There's no language better for that. For speed hacking, it's way better than Python. Python is good for like making tools for hacking, but it's not good for speed hacking. Perl is the most powerful command line tool you'll ever have, ever. It's so powerful, and people undercut it. In fact, it's so dangerous. They've been started to take it out of OSs because it's there. If it's on the system and you broke it into the system, Perl is your baby. I mean, you can own the system using Perl in there. I mean, if you don't want to ship your own exploit like you could with Go, which is another reason Go is so popular with hackers. So that's all I have to say about that. That's like I'm quoting Forrest Gump now or something. Wait, where did my stuff go? I lost I got to get my stuff, my sessions back. There we go. Anyway, go play around with the challenges if you want or not. These are basic. They're not written in any particular language. Create a program that prints hello when you run it from the command line. You should save shebang lines when .hello print hello world, right? So if you want to kind of, these are just kind of ideas for you to create your own ideas. Exorcism.io is another one. I've found their stuff to be really dated and sometimes wrong. I really love it. I want to help them update their stuff. But I cannot get behind the Bash in particular. I learned how to write trust code for Bash in there. But some of the ways that they have you pass it, but it has a lot of languages. If you want to sample a lot of languages here, it's a really great place to go do this, exorcism.io. And if you want to just look at other people's code, there's repl.it. I think it's replit.com now. I think they changed. It's got all kinds of code here. You can just browse other people's code. And, hang out with people, go look at their code on GitHub, that kind of thing. And that's really all I have to say about that. So I think we're good there. Any other questions before we hang it up for the night? This is a fun night. I mean, I hope I've given you enough ideas. I don't, it's a little bit hard for me because I don't feel like I'm covering the topic. I know I'm not covering the topic well. I'm just giving you the highlights of the topic so you can go fill in the blanks. And that feels weird, but there's no way we're getting through this if we don't. We still haven't got to customizing or bash RC and stuff. It's going to take us another 4 days, 5 days before we get to that. I have to cover structured data with you. Structured data is as important, if not more important, than learning how to shell the code, because everything is in JSON and YAML today. And so that's the next topic for tomorrow, and then we'll pick up from there. All right. Sound good? I don't see any particular questions in the chat. So, some Perl. Yeah, set and awk are, no, they're not. They're not. That's one of the biggest lies told to anyone ever. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that. Seriously, don't anyone lie to you and tell you that set and awk are mandatory. They're not. Go prove it to them. Set up yourself some projects and go out there, go to GitHub and just do random searches for set and awk, or go out to Stack Exchange. There you go. Go to Stack Exchange and search for all the crappy answers that have 10 pipelines with set and awk in them and cut and tr and all that crap, and rewrite them in POSIX shell with no subshells. There you go. Make the world a better place. Just say no. It's actually, it got Larry Wall so mad he made Perl because it was so bad. Inappropriate time to ask, but curious reviews on strong credentials for apps. Storing credentials for apps. I have, that's a good question. I'll answer that real quick before we go. In terms of where I store things, I like pass for that kind of thing. I personally don't believe in storing, if you can help it, storing credentials at rest anywhere without being encrypted. And I found out just today that Kubernetes etcd is all base 64. So to the hackers out there, I'm going to give you a tip. To the hackers out there and to the sec DevOps people, if you want to hack Kubernetes, hack etcd and learn how to unbase 64 stuff. If you hack into the control plane of a Kubernetes cluster, you have the freaking castle, because you now have every Kubernetes secret for the entire Kubernetes cluster for tens of thousands of nodes running all the applications in the enterprise, all sitting in there unencrypted in base 64 in etcd. So to the hackers out there, I'm not encouraging hacking. To the security people out there, the biggest glaring security hole in the entire system, as far as I'm concerned right now, is that none of the encrypted secrets of Kubernetes are stored at rest in encryption state. They're stored in base 64 in the etcd database. So you break into that thing, you're golden. Yeah, I know. I heard that today, Neonlets, and I could not believe it. My job out dropped through the floor. I was like, you mean all of this Kubernetes stuff is all based on base 64 secrets encryption? Now, there could be this is secondhand. This was somebody who's much more experienced who was working with me, and I asked him about it because we were talking about secrets, and it's such a concern that he actually went ahead and implemented his own token system so that his secrets are tokens. He uses his own tokenizing system. And they exchange the tokens around like you might see with OAuth or something like that, because he refuses to put a secret in raw form, which is really smart. And that's, by the way, when you hear people talk about DevSecOps, that's that entire, the whole thing about Docker running as root and everything. There are a number of really substantial security flaws with the default cloud native architecture right now in Kubernetes and Docker. And there's lots being done to address them right now, but my God, when I saw that, I just could not believe it. And so somebody asked a question about encryption at rest. Was Awk meant to be a standalone scripting language like Perl? Yes, it was. Yep. And Ken Thompson loves to talk about Awk being the all-powerful thing, and it wasn't. It sucked. It always sucked. It sucked. It's not anywhere close to Perl. Perl was created to replace Awk most directly. It was created to replace set, awk, tr, and cut. That was the main reason Perl was made. Mostly because of how horrible all the standards were. There was awk, knock, gnock, knock. There were like 10 different at rest. It's when it's storage, at rest. and storage and stuff like that. I believe in zero trust, and I know it's really hard to do, but yeah, I as much as possible now, I violate that all the time. I probably shouldn't say, but I have Twitch tokens unencrypted on my system, but at least I just lose Twitch there. I don't lose everything, right? I've been known to use SSH pass, which will pass a password from a file, and the PASS command is really nice. It's another really good command to use that's been used for Kubernetes and stuff. Vault Hashi is often used for enterprise secrets, including Kubernetes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Vault is. Yeah, but by default it doesn't come with any of that stuff. When the data is not being used, that is at rest, in use, or in transit, I believe. I don't know what at rest I mean. I guess that's what I mean. I mean in a database in particular. I mean, I did a lot of database architecture when I had to for IBM, and I refused to store credentials unencrypted, even in the database fields. And if you track Equifax and all the other major hacks that have happened in the world, it was all because the data at rest was not encrypted. If it had been encrypted in the database, they would never have had that data. They would have had to hack something else. Yeah, pass and pass off rate, LPT, yeah, OTP. Yeah, so anyway, if you're designing database, I know you're paying a performance hit, and that's usually why people don't do it. Like, oh, they're not going to get on this system or anything. Yeah, well, anybody who ever does a SQL injection attack, when they get your entire table, your entire database, your whole schema, for God's sake, if your fields are encrypted, at least you've got one extra level of security there, and you're not paying that much for it because it's been stored. If you got performance issues, use something like Redis or something. You know what I mean? Don't and even then you can encrypt those things if you really want to. Don't store secure data in flat form anywhere. Base 64, no, don't ever put it anywhere. Don't, because somebody will get on that system eventually and they'll get it out. It's just one more layer. Anyway, you'll be your own decision there. I'm gonna go now. It's been really fun. Thank you. I'll have the music back on here in just a bit, and you guys can listen to that. But I'm probably gonna pass out and wake up tomorrow and start it all over again. See ya. No problem.